Ha! You're here. Incredible. You caught me in my sports car. I was just on my way to the garage to work on my mediocre drift car. Welcome to this new video. But before anything else, I'm going to tell you a story that just happened to me. Indeed, you caught me in my sports car. And I was recently looking to buy a car to go buy bread. Discreet, simple, and honestly, quite economical. And thanks to the sponsor of this video, which is Car Vertical, look at what I found. Ha! Fortunately, they're here. As you can see, I was looking to buy a discreet McLaren 650S, and if I trust this amazing Car Vertical report, I was right not to buy it. Ha! Here we have rich people's problems. Look at the condition of this car, which seems to have had a little accident. That wasn't mentioned at the time of purchase. Indeed, the rear end got smashed in. And that, if I hadn't done a Car Vertical report, I wouldn't have been able to see it. Look a little further down. It's clearly stated that the car comes from a country that wasn't mentioned. And that it had damage. That's actually a shame. You can even see that it's currently imported into France. And for sale on the French market. Don't get fooled if you want to get rich like me and drive such cars. I recommend you do a Car Vertical report. Look, a promo code just appeared. It's incredible. It can be used for your next report purchases. You have the link in the video description. And I thank you for listening to this little story. Now let's hit the road in my supercharged car. We're heading to UGMT Classic to work on this modest Toyota. Let's go. Here we are.
It's the big day. She won't leave here until she has 500 horsepower. The project of my life is about to begin now. Now we're going to install the big turbo. It felt really strange driving her this morning, because I knew I wouldn't be driving her again for a long time. I even went to wash her to try to make her as clean as possible, which is already pretty good. Above all, she looks great again thanks to the polishing my buddy Chris did for me. And now, here we go. We're going to get down to business. I feel like I'm finally going to become a man. That's it. I'll finally be able to have my Chaser with its top-mount turbo. This will be the first top-mount turbo of my life. It's also something I realized not long ago. For those who have known me for a long time on YouTube, and even in my private life, I've had a lot of cars in my life. And I've had a lot of cars with a lot of power. What counts as big power depends on who you ask. But I've had cars with 300, 400, 450 horsepower. And I was thinking about it the other day. I told myself that if this car had at least 500 horsepower, that would make it the most powerful car I've ever had. And I thought about it carefully. I told myself, yes, that's true. I've never owned a car with more than 500 horsepower. The biggest one I had was my EP13 U211 AMG. It was a 5.5-liter V8 with a supercharger, 479 horsepower, with 700 Newton meters of torque, though it won't actually have that much. However, it should have more horsepower, making it officially the most powerful car I've owned. I need to stay humble behind the wheel, and I'm really looking forward to this new chapter. In a period of my life that might be stressful. A lot of waiting, a lot of work. But when it's over, it's going to be something, you know? So, at first, it's not going to be super exciting, because I'm going to do all the little things that nobody wants to do. That means changing the fuel filter. I'm going to put well, that kind of hurts me a bit, but hey, now that we're here, I plan to change the fuel filter and to put in a BMW fuel filter. Something like this. Either a model like this, to install a fuel filter that's a bit more free-flowing. Let's just say the original one is really very small. We're going to change that too. Now, I don't know if I'll film it for you. I'll see. I'm going to change my fuel pump once again. That means that currently in the car, I have an AEM with a flow rate of 255 liters per hour. And actually, it was a fuel pump I was supposed to install at the beginning when I got the car. It was supposed to be used before doing the big build, but I ended up installing it so late. So now, that's it. It's time to install the big fuel pump. So now, we have a fuel pump with a flow rate of 460 liters per hour. Next, I have the oil catch can. I'm not completely sure yet about the whole system I bought, but I bought it and I have it just in case. I still have a few cables to give to Charles so he can have fun with the management. I have a dump valve that was at my place, which I got from one of my old cars. We'll see if I manage to install it. I have a fuel pressure regulator, so we need to redo the whole fuel system. Why do this first? Because I'm converting the car to run on ethanol. And while looking it up online, I saw that the guys who convert chasers to ethanol actually change all the fuel hoses. So all the old hoses are replaced with new ethanol-compatible hoses. So I'm going to have to change all those little pieces of hose here and there, especially in the engine bay, around the fuel rail. There's something I'll need to install there, and I need to install it really well, with good quality. It's going to be a fuel pressure regulator. Charles asked me for that. So I bought a big fuel pressure regulator with a gauge. That way, he'll always have information on it, and he can make his adjustments perfectly. So I need to add that. I need to change the hoses. I need to change the fuel pump. The injectors will also need to be changed. You'll see. I really treated myself with the injectors. Actually, I had the choice between either some Bosch ones, modified to 1050cc, or I have a lot of friends who told me, man, treat yourself, go for dynamic injectors. Those are what guys use on 2,000 horsepower Supras. American injectors. My wallet still hurts. That was expensive, so thanks again to W Autosport for importing them for me. He gave me a good price, I'm not gonna lie. But the retail price and even the price I paid for them, that hurts. We're talking over 1,200 euros for the injectors. Yeah, but poof, I won't do that twice. Yeah, I'll only do it once, so it has to be done right. And when it's up on the lift, I'll show you as well. So yeah, some people are gonna say to me, yeah, why didn't you put your own brakes and all that? I'm gonna change my pads, basically my handbrake shoes, to Project Mu ones. And these ones, it took me a while to get them. It took me 3 months. So why did I get these and not put a caliper from my own place? For the simple reason that these are the handbrake shoes to keep the original handbrake, but with an extremely abrasive material. I chose the D1 GP category. So there are some guys who actually use this in the D1 GP category. And this makes your handbrake work like a hydraulic handbrake. And I didn't actually want to put a double caliper setup, because at RWVP, we do the double caliper drift setup. But I didn't want to install it because it would have forced me to use a hydraulic handbrake. And I really want to keep my original cable handbrake. So eventually, of course, I'm going to change the small caliper that's here to put one from my own place. Obviously, because it's good to have the big brake in the front, but it would look even better to have the caliper in the back. So I'll put a small 4-piston one, just a bit bigger than what I have originally because it's the rear brakes. And in drifting, you don't really need them. What matters most is going to be the handbrake and the front brakes to make the car pivot. But eventually, yeah, it will change. But I'll keep my cable handbrake. I really want to keep it. And the injectors, they're here. Dynamic injectors. I'll show you. You'll understand why. The rolls, that's what we call the injector. So these are Bosch bases, but reworked by the dynamic injector and compatible with the NGZ. So we'll take our time with the installation. I don't think that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to carefully put them away because these are as expensive as gold. I won't necessarily film the operation for you because you've already seen it in the previous video. I'll start by changing my fuel pump again. That way I can begin with something simple and take care of little tasks like that. Checking my hoses along the way. I'll get back to you when we reach the main point. We're starting to install the first performance parts on the car. A few days later, we're back. As I said, I installed the new fuel pump. So we went from the AEM, 250 or 340 liters per hour, I don't remember exactly, to a Walbro at 460 liters per hour. The pump is installed. Now I need to install hoses compatible with ethanol. It's not too bad. There aren't many. There are just small flexible hose sections that Toyota used throughout the Chaser, and I'll need to replace them all. To do it right, I ordered this reinforced hose that's ethanol compatible. And I'll also need to install this. That's going to be the next step for the Chaser. It's an AEM sensor. It's really small. It's an intake air temperature sensor that Charles wants me to install on the intake circuit after the intercooler. The only problem is, it would have been good to put it on the intake manifold, but there's no more space. So I took this kit with this kind of little ring here, as you can see. We're going to have to weld it onto the piping just before the intercooler. The problem is, it's aluminum. Anthony from GMT doesn't weld aluminum, and I definitely don't either. So I'm going to take apart the little part of the intercooler before the throttle body. And I'm going to take it directly to someone to get it welded. I'll show you quickly. Because the car is outside, it's 41 degrees outside. I'll quickly show you where the part of the piping is that I need to take apart. I'll take it apart. And then I'll bring it back into the shade, because the car is outside. We're not going to move it or bring it inside for this, because after that, it won't be able to get out of the garage. That would be tough. 41 degrees. All right, let's go. We'll try to be quick. So, basically, the intake temperature sensor needs to be placed around here. I think the smartest option is to put it here, so that's where we'll put it. Besides, there's already a wiring harness here. We'll put it somewhere around here. I need to take this apart, so here it's going to be a 10, a 10. I'll remove the tube and that's it. The heat inside. My God, she's burning, my poor chaser, she's burning. I shouldn't have disconnected the battery. Damn, we're going to need a wrench. Wow, summer's tough, huh? You understand why we don't make too many videos in the summer. Usually, we live in an incredible area. It's unbearable. Right now, I'm literally burning up. I'm starting to get a headache. I haven't even been outside for 10 minutes. It's really intense, I swear. And you never get used to it, you never get used to it, you never get used to it, you never get used to it. Maybe I'll take this off too. I feel like I'm doing some Fort Boyard challenge here, like I have to do everything really fast before the door closes. Shit, I'm stuck. There you go. And you too, that's it. I'm drying out. Yes, we'll put this back there because we don't need it. So that's how it is, it's there. We put away the tools and I'm out of here. It's hot. It's unbearable. Come on, let's go to the shade. It's the next day. I still haven't gotten the piece of intake piping hose yet. I'm struggling to find words. It's 42 degrees. Honestly, it's complicated to work right now. So I'm not necessarily filming everything. The car was outside. We brought it into the garage. I'm going to start working a bit on the front of the engine. I'm looking at the front of the engine to see where I can put and how I can set up my oil catch can. It's always a bit tricky to say that. The oil catch can, what is it? It's a kind of oil vapor recovery device, actually. I'll explain it to you. So, here's the engine as it is right now. And yes, it's very dirty. Unfortunately, I can't do anything about that for now. Normally, you have the valve covers here. The valve covers actually catch oil vapors from this little pipe here and send them into the intake manifold through this hose here. Well, through this little nipple right here. What we're going to do is bypass that. Basically, I'm just going to run a hose. A hose that no longer goes into the intake manifold, but instead will go behind the engine and end up over there in the fender. Same thing for the cover on the left. This will make it a bit clearer. The hole here is normally where a hose goes into the intake, right here, just here. It's the same thing. We remove it since some people use it that way. Personally, I'm not a fan. Basically, some people keep the small hose on the right that goes into the intake pipe, even when they switch to top performance. And there are some who, on the left, run their hose directly into the turbo inlet. Well, into the pipe that's just after the turbo filter. But that ends up spraying oil vapors and everything into the turbo. I'm not really a fan of that. I asked several people who have a GZ, and they all told me to use an external catch can. So here, the goal is to take this box. So it looks like this, you see? I haven't finished installing it yet. Basically, you see, there will be a hose inlet here. I'm going to put the second one here, and inside the oil vapors will actually go in, and we're going to mount it here. We'll connect the hoses that are here afterwards. And yeah, from time to time, actually, I'll come and check it with this clever little device here, there you go, which will actually show you, like an oil gauge, whether it's full or not. When it's full, just unscrew this part, empty it, and put it back. If your engine is in good condition, it shouldn't fill up quickly. Now I can't finish this immediately because on the right, it's fine. I have everything I need. On the left, however, I don't have the right hose. I need to add a hose. I need to buy a hose. Sorry, it wasn't the right diameter. Actually, I was planning to go with a setup using things like this, but it doesn't work. So I got the hose accordingly, so it won't fit. So I'll buy another one. I'll try to put it in place first to connect the first hose. And normally there are these little caps you can put on your valve cover to make it easier to attach your hose. They're very expensive. So I prefer to reuse the original system. Or if I end up losing it online late tonight, I'll buy the caps I need. But for now, I'll just mock it up like this, put the box in place, and that'll already be pretty good. In this video, I'm telling you, it's only going to be stuff like this. There won't be anything else. There won't be anything major in terms of preparation because I haven't received all the parts yet, so basically, I'm just getting ready for the big project. So, there will be the oil catch can, and there are still a lot of little things to set up. I'll also have to install, I think we'll do it in this video for sure, the fuel pressure regulator. That's the same. It's going to be interesting. However, I'll explain to you why when we get there. And once we've finished all that, I think that'll pretty much be the end of the video. And in the next videos, I hope we'll have received the exhaust manifold and the camshaft. You'll see I've planned quite a few parts. All right, here we go. Now we're getting into what I was dreading the most. That is, I'm trying to install parts, and actually, I realized that what I ordered isn't necessarily the most optimal solution. So, I just placed another order right now for $150 worth of fittings and hoses to do things properly. I bought some fittings that you put directly on the valve cover, kind of like swivel fittings. It's expensive. The 2 fittings cost 90 euros. At least the quality will be good and it will look clean. Initially, I wanted to make all the oil catch can hoses in dash 4. And in the end, actually, with these fittings, I'm going to switch everything to dash 10. That way, I don't have to bother and I'm doing pretty much what most people do online, based on the photos and comments I've seen. So now, I've ordered everything. I'm going to try to get everything organized again. So I'm going to mount my oil catch can using the bracket we just made with Thebo. So here we go. The bracket, there it is. For the setup that was just made and is drying right now, which will let me mount the oil catch can up there at the top left of the car. All the hoses you see here, well, they're going to be removed. And I just put the right hoses back on my oil catch can, so that's good now. I put on the seals, I put on the Teflon, it's in dash 10. Now, it's just going to get the hoses, the fittings, and then it'll be done. Normally, at the same time, I should be getting some fittings and hoses, actually, to come and install my fuel pressure regulator. So to install it, it's going to be very simple. Actually, the original one, here, you can see it. I'll try to zoom in. It's right there. Actually, it's at the end of the fuel rail. And the goal is actually to remove it. And if you remove it, I bought a little fitting that I'll put in its place, which will allow me to switch to dash 6 to come here. And actually, the regulator, we're going to put it in place of the diagnostic port that's right there. And then, same thing, from dash 6, it goes back into the return line. So that's the same, I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for all these fittings, these hoses, and that will allow me to make a bit more progress when I go back down south. It's really tough, especially since, well, it's my first time. Yeah, it's the first time I'm doing such a big build on a car. And above all, I'm trying. I want to do as much as I can myself because, well, it's my baby. It's my chaser, and I want to have that pride of saying that, well, I did everything myself, and it gives me experience. Well, it's not easy, but I'm happy to be learning on a GZ, though. And let's be honest, for me, I think it's an easy engine to work on in the sense that it's not a naturally aspirated engine that you're converting to turbo. It's already turbocharged. It's just about making improvements. So basically, it's still doable. And now, well, end of the day, I'm going to pack everything up and head home and wait for the rest of the parts I ordered to arrive. That's it. I got my intake manifold back with the sensor port welded on. Now we can install an intake air temperature sensor. Charles will be happy about that. So let me show you. It looks like this. We had to sand it here so the welder could weld this onto the aluminum for me. It's well done. He tested it for leaks before giving it to me, which is very professional. So I'm going to give it a quick coat of paint, just to make it black while making sure to protect this part here so it doesn't get into the threads. And then we'll be able to put it back together and run the cables to send the intake temperature information to the link. So, many thanks. Sud Sauder, he charged me next to nothing. He's in Carpentras, and in 24 hours, he welded this for me, and he's super nice. The guy really did a great job. It's perfect. It's exactly what I wanted. I put another quick coat of paint on top just to make it black and uniform. It's Montana paint, it'll dry and turn matte black. The result should be pretty perfect. We'll wait until tomorrow. In the meantime, I received a few little fittings. Unfortunately, they're fuel fittings. It's to install my fuel pressure regulator. And I still haven't received the fittings for the oil catch can. So I think tomorrow we'll go back to the garage. I'll put this part back on. I'll install the sensor and I'll start working on the fuel system. Sounds like a pretty cool plan to me. We'll get some fuel everywhere. It's going to be fun. We're going to have a good laugh. New day. Today's going to be a good day because I received quite a few performance parts. In front of me are many small, colored aluminum parts of good quality. I treated myself. There are parts I wasn't planning to buy, but I ended up buying them. But I'm happy. Now that they're here, I admit, they were worth the price, they were worth it, and I'll show you. The biggest part, the one I'm happy about, is this. Last time we left off, I was working on the oil catch can, which is still in its place, by the way. It hasn't moved, and it's over there. I told you I wanted to keep these original fittings, but as you saw, that won't work at all except to connect it. So I bought this, and this is really expensive. I'm not going to lie to you, but it's great. That means these are swivel fittings that come out in -10. So we'll be able to put them in place of this one and in place of that one over there, which is original. It'll look better, be more reliable, and most importantly, the right size. It'll let me run hoses all the way over there. Unfortunately, I still need the hoses. That's the last thing missing. They're on their way, but we can already put them in place. Anyway, the car only goes from the garage to outside, so it shouldn't normally make a mess in the engine bay. It's already all dusty anyway. It's going to get a cleaning anyway when it's all done. So that's already a good thing. So there are two of them, two different ones. One for the intake side, one for the exhaust side. Next, we'll move on to this. This is still about the catch can. These are the small clamps I got specifically to run the hoses. I'll install these plugs I ordered, even though I don't have the hoses yet. There are still a few things left to install. There are 7 parts, and that's especially important. It's a fitting, well, actually it's not a fitting. It's a kind of thread adapter for the original V10Z fuel rail that gives me a -6 outlet. If you remember, right here, there's the car's original regulator that's actually screwed onto the end of the fuel rail. So this one, we're going to unscrew it, and once it's unscrewed, I'll be able to put this fitting in, which will let me have the fuel rail outlet in -6. To that, originally, I was supposed to screw this on, so I could then put an 8mm hose, but I didn't like that. So we're going to switch it to a dash fitting. So unfortunately, I bought this, but I won't need it. I bought the same one, but in -6. So we're going to screw this onto it. Here, the -6 hose, which is right here. Next, we screw this on as well. Fuel pressure regulator on one side with 7 adapters again, and on the other side. However, we're switching back, since there will be less fuel pressure, to an 8mm hose to return the fuel to the tank. All of that took me a week to figure out and decide exactly how I was going to do it, and that's what takes the longest, because then it was just a matter of waiting for them to arrive, and now they're here. It'll be finished today since I have all the parts. The fuel's already taken care of. Here, so we found, as we saw earlier, my little piece of the intercooler that I can put back and screw in my intake temperature sensor. My intake temperature sensor lets Charles monitor the intake temperature to ensure there are no issues. At least it will let me know the air temperature my engine takes in, which is actually important. So the goal at the end of this video is for the fuel pressure regulator and the fuel system to be finished, except for the injectors, which I'll do a bit later, and for the oil catch can to also be finished, so we don't have to come back to it. Once that's done, I'll have completed 80% of the work regarding all the little details to get ready for the big turbo. That's everything I'm preparing while waiting to receive the manifold, which I haven't gotten yet. Soon, I should also be receiving the camshafts. We'll make a separate video on the camshafts and related work, since we need to remove the timing belt, replace the pulley, and swap the camshafts. That will be a big job too. I'm getting help from Thibaut since I don't know camshafts. I've never done this before, but it's time to learn. Now I'm designing the fuel fitting and we'll do a test assembly on the workbench. I'll take apart the old fitting. I'm also going to release the fuel pressure that's in the fuel system, because there must be quite a bit left. Since I started the engine to get back, I'm also putting my intercooler back on. Just little things like that. Currently, we're handling minor but necessary tasks like this to improve my turbo setup's reliability, even if they're not enjoyable. That's how to start the day right. Look. This is the intake temperature sensor that was in my piping, and as you can see, I literally just broke it in the piping. Actually, he warned me when he welded the ring. It was so small that there was a chance the bottom of the ring was tight, and maybe it needed to be adjusted. I screwed in the sensor, and at some point, the sensor snapped. It went in crooked. When I took it out, well, it's so thin that it broke. So, well, it's okay. With Thibault's grandpa, we managed to remove the threading that was left inside and rethread the inside so I could use it again. Now, I put in a screw. I have to buy a new sensor for $70. Right now, I'm really annoyed. I'm putting the part back in. Well, once again, the story of my life. I put the piping back together, but actually, I'm realizing that to remove the car's original pressure regulator, I have to take this apart. So I'm just going to remove the clamp here. You can't really see it very well, but basically, you won't see it. Behind the original pressure regulator is the thread and a notch for unscrewing. It fits perfectly over this. All right, I'm going to remove the throttle body and see if I have better access. Well, that's good. It was well thought out. Honestly, Toyota's actually pretty nice when it comes to the design of their parts. 4 screws and the throttle body came right off. So now I have more space to get to my fuel pressure regulator so I can remove it and then set up the mounting point and all that. I think that's all I'm going to do today. Filming and adjusting everything takes a long time. I'm going to install it in the diagnostic port so I can see a bit inside my intake manifold, which isn't very dirty. And above all, I see that it also gives me much better access to the fuel rail and, as a result, the injectors. That's actually pretty good. So, I don't know if maybe I should just do it now. The thing is, I would have liked to give it a quick blast with a pressure washer. As you can see, over there it's really dirty. You see, around the injector wells, it's not looking good. Actually, I would have liked to use a pressure washer to make it really clean. So, maybe I'll do it in 2 steps. I don't know. Anyway, I've been doing a lot of unnecessary disassembly and reassembly since I started this project. But it's okay, I have time. Now that we have some space, let's try to unscrew the regulator. So normally I started the car earlier by removing the fuel pump, well, by unplugging it to avoid having fuel spraying everywhere. So now it's unscrewed. That's good because nothing was stuck. A little bit of fuel is going to spill. Anyway, that's for sure. It's the part that's turning. Yeah, well, okay, I'm screwed. I need to remove all the little hoses that are connected to it. There we go, air hose. Okay, and now the fuel return hose. Okay. I'm not too sure about this one. We're going to remove the fuel hose that's been stuck there for 25 years. It's okay, I think it'll be fine, but it's definitely going to spill everywhere. What's underneath? There's nothing. Hop, 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 hop. There you go, that's all I was worried about. No, but it's fine. No, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. There aren't that many. Well, anyway, there's a little hose here that I need to replace. No. What's happening? Why is it stalling now? The fuel pressure regulator is hitting against that big screw over there. I don't know what it is. It's some kind of huge banjo bolt. Okay. That's not very cool. I hope that's not oil. What's that big bolt, that banjo bolt on the side of the engine? That smells like oil. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. Damn, that's oil. Damn, it's leaking. It gets to me. That's a real pain in the ass. There's no other solution now. Okay, Thibaut came to see me and he told me, you don't have a choice. You have to open it, and after a while it drains and you clean it up. I open it, remove the hose, take off my regulator, close it up and clean. It won't leak for 5 or 6 years anyway. Damn, I really love doing this. Stupid trail here. Yeah, it's fine. It's not leaking much. Damn, this screw is really long. Actually, I think it was just the excess that was in the screw that leaked out. But what is this screw? A screw with a filter at the end. So, if there are any experts, I don't know what this is. Hopefully nothing else comes to bother me now. Anyway, I can just put it right back there. I'm not coming here anymore. No, but this is a joke. I don't care, I'll just remove it. The vacuum hose nipple keeps sticking to the engine block. I'll twist it. Anyway, I won't put it back on. I won't put the original pressure regulator back on. There you go. It's there. All right, I cleaned it. I'm putting the screw back. Well, the VVTi filter screw, I don't really know. I don't know exactly what it's for, but it's there. Okay, now you'll understand a little better what we're going to do. The regulator is here. The adapter from earlier is here. It usually has the same threading. So, that's what's going to allow me to switch to -6 on the fuel return. I put the screw back. It's good. Not too much oil leaked out. I put it back and tightened the banjo fitting securely. It's perfect. Next, we'll remove the old hoses and build the entire fuel system with the banjo fitting outside the car. I'll mock it up here without tightening it. And then, I'll take it apart again, put it on my workbench, and lock it in place. First, let's make sure it's really the right thread with the adapter. There we go. Sorry if you can't see much. I'm going very slowly. That way, I'm not locking it in place. Okay, it's good. It's the right one. There's no doubt. It's fine. We'll put the gasket back on the regulator since there was one on it. But it's good. That's working. So actually, we can start mocking it up outside the car. I called my expert, Jacko Racing in Grass. You might remember him. He did the Selka to Rift with me. He told me, because I think actually I couldn't see putting this together dry, one on top of the other. So he told me, you put a tiny bit of Teflon or copper grease. So I put some Teflon grease on it. That should be more than enough. So let's start by assembling, well, not this. because after that, I won't be able to put it on. So I won't get caught out. I'll install this first, on the car. And then at the end, I'll add this on top. At least this way, it's already greased. All right, so I need to mock up the hose length. So for that, I'm also going to set up the regulator. I took this apart, which is a hose bracket. And it was the bracket for the engine diagnostic port. And actually, I'm going to attach the regulator here with a screw, like this, basically. And it's going to rest on the hose bracket. I'll use thread locker on everything so nothing moves. I measure the hose length, put it in place, and cut the other side. Regulator. Okay, I put all the screws needed in the back. I installed the fitting to run the flexible hose from the car back to the tank. The fitting that goes on the inlet, well actually the return, but at the regulator's inlet in dash 6. Everything is tightened, grease, gasket, it's okay. On its bracket here, there's nothing left but to put it back. Simulate the hose length I need and go have a drink. Because it's starting to get really, really hot now. It's getting close to 42 degrees outside again. I'm going to remember this preparation in the middle of summer. Well, I couldn't film because my main light just went out on me. So now I'm shooting with the small one here. All right, the fuel pressure regulator's in place. It's screwed in. I just need to put on the hose I made, that's right here. Here's the hose I made earlier, so this one is good. It's the right size. Now I just need to connect it and change the last hose, which will be trickier since I have to remove a clamp at the bottom. Maybe it would have been easier on the lift. But honestly, now that this is all I have left, I'd rather struggle for 5 minutes. And after that, the regulator will be good. There was a battle between the mechanics and me just now. I didn't miss that. Damn, I messed up my arms and hands. Basically, all I had left to do was remove it. Damn, I'm exhausted. This last piece of hose. And I had to remove a clamp all the way at the bottom of the car. I'll show you, it'll be easier. Basically, the new hose is here. It goes all the way down into the car. To make a long story short, I put the car on the jack, and basically, I went all the way down there to cut the hose with a utility knife so I could finally get it off. And let me tell you, putting it back on was a real pain. So now all I have left to do is cut the hose and put it there. And I'm done with the pressure regulator. And I'm going to start it up, and I really hope there won't be any leaks. That's it, it's done. It's assembled. The fuel pressure regulator is done. The small hose here goes over there. Anyway, you saw the video. It's finished. Now, it's time for me to go home. I'm making progress very slowly because I have to film, because I've never done this before, and because I'm trying my best so I don't have to redo it. The video doesn't end here. We'll move on to the other catch can, but for me, it's 6 p.m. and I'm done for today. Things aren't going smoothly. I'm using my phone since I've already packed my equipment. We tried to start it, but it won't start. So I'm starting to wonder if actually I didn't put it in the right place. Actually, this might go under the regulator and not on the side. So what am I even doing here? A screw, it just won't start. I'm sure if I put it underneath, it'll start. Okay, I've put it back on now. I put the return line at the bottom of the regulator. I put a screw here, but it's not a dash 6. So, let's see if I get pressure now. Go ahead. Yeah, 3.5 bars there. It's good. There were more than 3.5 bars. I'm going to unscrew it. Don't move, I'm unscrewing it. Well, there you go, actually. It was just plugged in wrong. Damn, they couldn't even give a damn manual with this thing. There you go, that's it. On constant, I have 2.5 bars. Whereas here, the ignition is off. There's nothing. Go ahead, turn on the ignition. There you go, there are 3 bars. Go ahead and try it, it's good. It's good. Off topic and unrelated to the Shays video, but Nico from Haute Bordeaux visited to show me his new car. And God knows I love this car because I've had 4 of these CLKs myself. Except that he could afford to get a big engine. Me, let's say I deal with millions, he deals with billions. So he can buy a V8. It's the K430 V8. Honestly, it's the first time I've ever driven one.
It's true.
I've never tried a 4.3.
V8, 180,000 kilometers.
Yeah, honestly, it's in great condition. It's fucking... Can you show the dashboard? Well, yeah.
There it was. It is
Really in mint condition.
condition. She's been well looked after. Yeah.
She is beautiful. You can drive it anywhere.
Did you see that? Yeah.
It's peaceful.
That's a real VIP car right there. That's what I really like. You can drive like an old man, just chill, you know? Like, seriously, you don't even hear the hookers go by or anything. And if one of them gets on your nerves, you just stomp on the pedal and take off like a rocket.
Like that, you know. Master. We had just started tearing into the car.
Not.
It works just as much when...
Even, and I think the oldest part of the car is
That's more than fair. Yeah, 400.
original M.
000 original kilometers. But what a crazy year.
Yeah, that's it.
You're getting back to your easy, relaxed driving.
I'm telling you, it won't be long before we see a CLK 430 on Peter's channel.
No, I'm team classy with saddles. I've had enough of those, and ranking suits me better.
That's why I say I'm more into comfort. An all-blue V210 of 55,000. Oh.
There. That's something to enjoy someday. But I remember when they were 9 or 10,000 euros with 150,000 kilometers.
You see now?
Now, 10,000 euros gets you one with 400,000 kilometers.
What's that? And you? I've seen some for over 20,000 euros.
Yeah, but that's because they're really good cars. People used to hate them, and now they realize they're amazing rides. They get good reception, they're comfortable, they run well. Over 350 horsepower. But honestly, I wouldn't say no. An all-blue V210 in AMG.
That must be something. The thrill, the vibe there.
It's like a ringtone when adding an exhaust.
See you soon.
It must still be nice to have...
He's very happy since...
You've wanted one for so long.
There it is, my first V8.
See you in a bit. Come on, the last one for fun. Respect. Yeah, bye, we'll buy. But yeah. I love this. And yeah, the option. The killer option. So, what the hell is this? The seats inflate. With the vacuum pump. Day 4,777. I don't even know where we are anymore with the build. Another day where I have to do little things to move forward with the turbo prep. So, today, the mission is going to be to finish the oil catch can. I got the hoses, I got my swivel fittings that I showed you. We're going to put them on, that's it. And I also got something from A&L to have more light in the engine bay. Honestly, they really nailed it. It's this kind of huge, adjustable spotlight. I'm really happy about it because it lights up the engine bay really well. Look, I'll show you without it. There you go. Here you can't see anything, and now you can. Plus, it's adjustable, so I'm pretty happy about that. So thanks again to them, because if you can see things under the hood now, it's thanks to them. So now the goal is to put the little swivel fittings right here, then attach the hoses and connect the oil catch can that's right over there. Once that's done, we can move on to the big stuff. And I also received the new sensor that I broke. So same thing, the intake temperature sensor, I'll install the new one. I'll probably let Charles handle the wiring, since I'm not sure whether it needs specific cables. It's coming along as the little things are getting finished bit by bit. I still haven't received the other parts. The exhaust manifold and camshafts are still missing. As long as I haven't received those, the block, the left part, and the central part, we're not dealing with them for now. We're really just working on the small peripheral things, and you might say, yes, but to install the camshafts, you'll have to remove your rocker covers. So there's no need to install the catch can now? Well, yes, because this way, I can put my fittings, simulate it, and I know I won't have to come back to it. Except for disassembling, I don't have to touch it anymore. It's done. It's finished. Well, obviously it doesn't fit. I hesitated yesterday about putting it in the freezer. I didn't do it. I thought it would fit. So I'm going to put it in the freezer. I'm making my hoses calmly. Let's hope that after an hour or two in the freezer, it'll be reduced enough so I can push it back in again. Why am I putting it in the freezer? Because it shrinks the size of the metal by a few %. But that's done on a large one to insert it into the kicker's helmet. Okay, let's put together our little hoses to connect the catch can. And now you're going to laugh, because the company where I ordered my hoses from. I asked for 3 meters, and they sent me 3 meters, but they sent it to me 3 times. 1 meter, so 1 meter, 2 meters, 3 meters, so. In the meantime, I went to the hardware store, Jay, to buy this so I could do it. Today, it's a 15 fitting, which should fit right into these hoses. Normally, it should fit. We'll figure it out. In the meantime, well, until I buy new hoses, or get a better quality plastic fitting. But at least it's something to make some progress, because otherwise, nothing is moving forward. And at least I have the right length of hoses I need. I'll skip the step of putting the hoses together because there's really nothing exciting about it. I'll make them and get back to you when we're in the engine bay to connect everything and make sure it's all good. In the end, I got lucky. I checked and did a quick mock-up with my hoses. In the end, I took 3 meters just to be safe. But actually, 2 1-meter hoses are enough to connect to the haul and catch can. There we go, they're done. So now that little thingy is in place. I haven't cut the end yet because I'm about to get the ones from the freezer, the fittings for the valve cover. Hopefully they've shrunk enough to fit without having to hammer them in too hard. Let's say I hope it'll work now because it's frozen. The thing is pretty perfect, it's good. It went in perfectly and now it's ready to have its hose attached. So now we have to weld it back on from behind like this. Well, no, I won't have a choice because, anyway, the turbo will be at the bottom. Now, I'm going to get the second one, but the second one is going to be a bit more complicated because it's on the side of the block, and I can feel that it's going to be tricky. I'm leaving it in the freezer for a long time. But Peter, why did you remove your valve cover? Normally you don't need to take it off to put your little fitting on the side, except when your fitting is super dry and it fell inside your valve cover. I need to remove the valve cover to get it out. But it's not so bad since installing the fitting will be easier to tap in. Here we go again, removing the valve cover a second time, and a third when I do the camshafts. Still, some will ask, why not do this while working on the camshafts? I'm doing this so I can check off more tasks. Once the oil catch con is finished, I'll only need to disconnect 2 hoses and won't have to worry about it when working on my camshafts. When I do the camshafts, I remove the valve cover, I do the camshafts. At least that's done. And above all, I'm making progress. Every bit I can move forward, I do. Because the deadline for the upcoming event, which is now in a month and a half, well, it's coming up fast. A month and a half. There you go, I got the piece back. But it couldn't come out because there's a ring, well, something, I forget the name. It's hot. How many times have I complained about the heat? Something kept it from coming out. So actually, in the end, I realized that the only way to get it out was to take it apart. Like I just did. By the way, should I just remove it? Honestly, does it really make a difference? Since now, yeah, that solution will just leave it, right? Yeah, it must have a purpose. If the engineers at Toyota put it there must be a good reason. That's what I was going to say. Since now we're running an external catch can, does it really make a difference to leave all these things here? There are lots of little separators, filters. We'll just leave them, guys. They did studies. They made an engine that's unbreakable. 25 years later, I'm not the one who's going to start inventing new systems, as if it would be better that way. I shouldn't forget to put the fitting on, because those who know me know I'd put the valve cover back on and forget it. I'm gonna get it from the freezer and I'll put it in there. At least it'll be much simpler. Well, it's good that it comes apart pretty easily, the valve cover, I mean. But I have to do it again in a few days. I haven't heard anything about my parts. Don't give me a hard time and get in there. Yeah, well, it'll be fine. Okay, it's good. But by hitting it like that, I messed up again. I just broke my oil cap. Well, it's not that big of a deal. Something new again. I'll make you a nice one. There you go. Damn, it's tough doing prep work here in the summer. I'm telling you, it's good. Let's put it back together. The valve cover's on and everything's tightened. But I'm not putting the cover back on since we agree it's not needed. However, I'm going to screw on my hose now. There you go, it's done. Oil catch can installed. I have the nice hoses going there, I just took them off. I didn't film it. I took them off again so I could recut them to the right length. It goes here, then goes out that way. Perfect. Maybe here in the middle. I'll put a little coupler to hold the 2 hoses together. But overall, I have to say I'm very happy. And above all, this brings this video to an end. I think it's gone on long enough. I think we've now seen all the little details about the beginnings of a top mount prep. we'll stop here. For the next steps, I think we'll start making videos on the chaser again. When I receive either the exhaust manifold or the camshafts, then I'll be able to show you something a bit bigger. I'll also need to change the injectors. We'll talk about injectors in a video, either about camshafts or the manifold. All right, all the little things I didn't feel like doing are now done. And normally what comes next should just be fun. Well, maybe except for the camshafts, because you have to take off the timing belt and... because you have to take off the timing belt. I'll be with him back there, since I'm fine on my own with my twin, Madone. With those fine words, my friends, I'll see you soon in another video. We'll switch things up anyway, I think. Secondary project, video, cheers, and see you. That's how it'll be. I doubt there will be 2 chooser videos in a row. Unfortunately, that's not possible. Thanks again for being here and for all your supportive messages on Insta. Really thank you for everything. Best community in the world. See you soon in the next episode. Bye.